showtime.
It's showtime. And here we go.
Welcome into another episode of the Movie Geek Podcast. I'm your host, George T. And I've got the weekend box office report, and I'm going to add the top 5 movies that I'm looking forward to in November here. Just haven't had the content out there, I know. So I thank all of you for hanging in there with me as we get into November and December. Obviously, family gatherings going on and just a lot of things going on. So again, bear with me. I'll have plenty of content for you. All right. With that being said, like, comment, subscribe if you are new to the channel. All right. Let's get into the box office report. An interesting weekend again. A very slow weekend on Halloween weekend. And the first movie we're going to talk about is the number 5 movie. It was Back to the Future, 4.9 million. Yes, I did say it was in re-release this weekend, and apparently people wanted to see it on the big screen. So it continues to trend that Hollywood is going to continue to re-release movies to see how well they can bring in money. And there's been a lot of weekends where we've seen the retro movies back in the theaters and making decent money. So glad that Back to the Future did well. Begonia finishes 4th at $5 million. So a little shaky start there. And then this is where the top 5 gets a little weird. So number 1 movie last weekend was Chainsaw Man. It finishes 3rd this week at 6.2. Regretting You stays at number 2, 3.8. It was the only movie that didn't move anywhere. And Black Phone 2 jumped back into the number 1 spot from going from 1 to 3 last weekend at 8.3. So a very slow weekend. Hollywood was reporting that it was the slowest month in October, and they begged the question why. Was there just not enough movies out there? Well, let me just say, there was a ton of movies out there. Probably many factors. Again, the economy right now is a little shaky. There was plenty of movies out there. And there was a lot of good movies on streaming services that came out. Netflix had a bunch. Prime had a bunch. And I will be dropping content on some of those exclusives this week. Hopefully, they'll all drop and we'll be fine. So there's many reasons. But to say that there was not enough movies out there, there was a ton. I mean, every week there was at least 10 to 15 movies out there, either in small release or big release. So, and then of course you re-release films. So, it is what it is. All right. So this weekend's box office, there are 2 movies that I'm looking forward to right off the top of my list, but I will get to that list at the very end of the show. So we start out with the smaller films for this weekend that will be in very limited release. This one will actually debut on Netflix 3 weeks from now. So Netflix has been really ramping this up, where they're throwing movies out into the theaters. I'm guessing they need some revenue stream, more so than the people subscribing to it. So they're throwing these movies out there, and then obviously they're getting watched on Netflix. So here's another one, Train Dreams. Joel Ellington, Felicity Jones, and William H. Macy star in this movie. Robert, who is Joel Eggerman, has lived all of his years in the forest of Pacific Northwest, working on the land, helping to create a new world at the turn of the 20th century. So, obviously, this is a pioneer type film, and it looks pretty good. I'm going to wait until Netflix to see it, obviously. So, in about 3 or 4 weeks, I'll have a review on it because it does look very interesting. So, if you want to see it early, it is going to be in very limited release this weekend and maybe next weekend, but I don't think so. I think they've been throwing them out there for at least a weekend, so on, because they did that with House of Dynamite, which, oh my god, a really good film, and I'll have a review on that as well. Then we've got Sentimental Value. So I know I'm going to botch these names, so bear with me here. Sisters, Nora, played by Renata Rinzov, and Agnes, played by Igna Lavlavis. I don't know. You know me and butchering names. Are reunited with their eccentric director father, who had disappeared years ago, played by Stellar Skarsgård. He offers Nora a role in his new film, and obviously, again, this is one of those reunited family movies, and it looks pretty decent. I probably will check it out when it gets to video on demand. Then we have a biopic that's coming out, Peter Hujar Day. This is about Peter, who was in 1974. In 1974, he was a photographer, and this is a conversation that takes place between Peter and Linda Ross Krasnick. It sheds light on New York's vibrant downtown art world and the introspective journey of its artists. So, again, this is a biopic about this one artist in New York in 1974. And, if you're interested in that, that will be in very limited release and then on video on demand very shortly after that. Then there's another movie called Long Shadows. This is when a young boy's mom and dad are brutally murdered. He ages out of an orphanage intent on revenge, but the love of a girl and a psychological trauma lead him down a mystifying path. So obviously he has been in an orphanage after he has seen his parents brutally murdered, and he is seeking revenge. However, along with that trauma, he's got a girl who is kind of trying to help him through it, and his path just has this weird, crazy path, and so that is also in very limited release. Also coming out in very limited release is I Wish You All the Best. This is about a high school junior who comes out as non-binary and is thrown out of the family's home with nowhere else to turn. They have to turn to his estranged sister and her husband. After enrolling in a new school, they find support from an eccentric art teacher while forming an unexpected bond with a kind-hearted soul. So, obviously, this is a coming-of-age movie that focuses on non-binary. So, that should get some conversations going and possibly some buzz for this movie. Then we've got Unexpected Christmas. Ugh, I don't even want to think about Christmas right now. This is November. And this is now going to be the first in, I would say, 15, 20 years that I'm not in retail anymore, so I wouldn't have to do any changeovers for Christmas. Thank God. Um, so I can just focus on family things. A Family's Perfect Christmas reunion is upended when old rivals, secrets, and romantic mix-ups come to a head. So, obviously, it is on the comedic side, and it is worth a look. Then we've got Sarah's Oil. So, this stars Zachary Levi, um, and in early 1900s, Sarah, played by Nia Beeser Johnson, again, mixed up the words, uh, believes there's oil beneath uh, their land. She's she's allotted in Indian territory as greedy sharks close in. Sarah turns to her family, friends, and Texas wildcatters to maintain control of her land, eventually becoming one of the first female African American millionaires. So, again, semi-biographical, so uh, it looks really, really good. And I do like biopics, so definitely check that out. Then we've got a German uh, animated film called Grand Prix of Europe. So there is obviously the Grand Prix uh, racing thing. So disguised as her favorite race car driver, a young mouse named Ida, played by Gemma Arterton, faces a series of traps and challenges as she competes in the Grand Prix. Haley Atwell also voices one of the characters in this film, and obviously this is uh, mouses getting into Grand Prix racing, so that could be for the kids, although it is in German. So what can you say? Okay, and so um, we got some big movies coming up now. So we've got Die, My Love. Um, Grace, played by Jennifer Lawrence, a writer and a young mom, is slowly slipping into madness. Locked away in an old house in Montana, her increasingly agitated and erratic behavior leaves her companion Jackson, played by Robert Pattinson, uh, Warren, worried and helpless. So, um, obviously, star power galore there, Jennifer Lawrence and Robert Pattinson. So, it is going to be one of the four big movies for the weekend. Uh, Jennifer Lawrence does. I know she does comedy really well, but she does do drama well as well. So this is definitely going to be something I will see. Probably not in the theater, but I will see it when it gets on demand. Um, and then we've got a biopic, Christy. So this is a story about Christy Martin, one of the most recognizable female boxers of all time. She is not your typical um, boxer per se. There was others, Layla Ali, daughter of Muhammad Ali, but she was just a normal normal woman who realized that when she threw punches, she could hurt people. She met her husband Jim, played by Ben Foster in this movie, and they started to um, get her in the gym and really work on her boxing skills. But this also tells of the other side of the fame and fortune. Flaunting a furious persona in the ring, her toughest battles start to unfold outside of the ring. She confronts family, identity, and a relationship that just might become life or death. So obviously, there's a lot to get into in that. Sydney Sweeney is playing Christy Martin. So not my probably first choice. Again, that I am not a Sydney Sweeney fan, but I'm going to give it a shot anyway because I do find Christy Martin's story very interesting. So I want to see how it's portrayed on the big screen. And then one movie that I'm looking forward to and I have been looking forward to, and then one big one that George and I are definitely going to go to this weekend. So let's get to the first one that's not in the theater. It's Frankenstein on Netflix. This is Guillermo del Toro. His version of Mary Shelley's Frankenstein. What a cast. Let's see. Jacob Eldero plays Frankenstein's monster. Mia Goth is in this film. Charles Dance plays Leopold Frankenstein. Christopher Waltz plays Heinrich, and Oscar Isaacs plays Victor Frankenstein. This movie has been on my radar since the beginning in January when it was announced. When I saw the first trailer, I think I dropped the trailer in one of those episodes, and I'm looking forward to this film. So I will definitely have a review next week for you with this movie. I'm thinking it's going to be up there in my top 10, top 5 maybe. Although I will be doing a review on House of Dynamite, which is definitely going to be in my top 5 at the end of the year. And then finally, Predator Badlands. So after the success of Predator Killer of Killers, we have a live-action Predator movie. This one is, a Predator cast out of its own clan, and an unexpected ally, played by Ellie Fanning, embark on a treacherous journey in search of the ultimate adversary. So we've now expanded out Predator. Okay, so Predator Killer of Killers kind of expounded on that. Prey kind of showed a different side, and you had the original Predator movie. But people have wanted to know more. And then Predators came out, and they had them on a planet being chased around by predators on a planet. So now we've got another planet, but this time predators are being hunted. So that seems very interesting. There is also a part in there where we do see humanoids there. However, from my research and what I'm guessing I will see in this film, is there may be a tie to Alien Earth and the Weyland-Yutani synthetics that they used in the show. So I'm guessing we may see an Alien versus Predator crossover and hopefully erase the other two from existence. So there is that. So there is the box office report. And again, Predator and Frankenstein are two movies I'm going to see for sure this weekend, so I will definitely have reviews on both of those films, which coincidentally comes into play when we talk about my top 5 for November. There's a lot of movies coming out in November as well that I'm looking forward to, but I was able to narrow it down to 5. However, my fifth one on this list, I did notice is going to be on Netflix in December, but it is dropping in the movie theaters at the end of this month. So I don't know technically where this falls in, but I want to put it on my list anyway. And I may put it in there just for December as well. So right now, number 5 would be Wake Up Dead Man, the sequel, another sequel in the Knives Out series. Uh, or number 5 would be Wicked 2, which is coming out this month as well. And then number 4, The Thing with Feathers. This is Benedict Cumberbatch playing a widowed husband who has a very nervous breakdown, envisions of this bird-like creature holding his soul and his family hostage. It looks pretty good. It looks pretty good. I think it's kind of like a cross between like Birdman with Michael Keaton and any movie where you've had loss and grief. So this is definitely going to be number 4. Number 3, yes. The Running Man. This is more true to the story that Stephen King wrote, starring Glenn Powell. Josh Brolin is playing the role of Richard Dawson in this film from the original. And as I was telling George, the original film, Running Man, used the backdrop of a devastating earthquake in '97 into San Francisco, and their television watching was basically rigged with convicts. So they would just throw these convicts into these games, promising them money if they could win. But of course, they were rigged games. They were never going to win. And so this one is a little bit different, whereas the book, this guy is down on his luck, and he figures if he can survive 30 days of the Running Man, it would be a huge break for his family. But there's that option that he could die too. But we all know what winds up happening. So, but that is number 3 on my list. And I say it kind of sarcastically because at the beginning of the year, I didn't know what to expect from, was it going to be a remake? Basically, it's more, I want to say it's more like a reboot, even though it's really not. It's more like, telling a story, telling the story that Stephen King wrote. Number 2 was Predator Badlands. And then number 1 for me was Nuremberg. And I think Nuremberg is going to be a really good film. And, yeah, I think so. And then obviously Frankenstein actually can move into the Wake Up Dead Man role, because I definitely wanted to see it. So there you go. There is top 5 to watch, or top 6, top 7, because Wicked. I know, it's fluid. It is what it is. All right, so that is your weekend box office report, and obviously I know I've been promising content, so I will definitely get that content out to you. Please make sure you like, comment, and try to tell anybody who's into movies to watch my little podcast. Also, one quick update: Jennifer's season 8 of Queen Malvalia is off to a really good start. Her Halloween special just got nominated for a film festival, so great for her and Charlie and the rest of her crew. So with that being said, if you haven't gone over to her channel, please do so. And like and comment and subscribe to her channel as well. Let's support the indie cause. All right. That being said, I'll see you all at the movies.
You like that, baby? Let him know where I came from, yeah!
See you next time. Bye.
Waiting for you. Goodbye. Goodbye. Goodbye.
Hasta la vista, baby.
That's all, folks.